quality, bro.
Hi,
This
everyone
is during
there.
the
This is
bloopers.
Back to Square One podcast. I'm Moxies, and I'm here with Cam, and we are going to be interviewing three people from Team Blue Eaters who played in the last 3v3. They come from their background of current. They decided to come play goats. They all did extremely well. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. I'm Artemis, 1/3 of Team Glue Eaters.
Yeah, I'm Cote. And then our third couldn't make it, but we'll talk for
Yeah.
him. Easy.
Okay, and what's a quick background of your guys' Yu-Gi-Oh history and careers?
So I'm pretty young. I just turned 20, so I've been playing the game for like relatively short amount of time compared to some of these other people. I think I started around like 2017. I took it seriously. But, like I've always played Yu-Gi-Oh casually, like since I was a kid. So from 2017 upwards, I think I've been playing current.
Yeah, I've been playing current since like Dragon Rulers, so like 2013. And then I took it seriously around Shaddoll format when the three decks like Shaddoll, Bernibus, Telenet, when that's Duelist Alliance, I believe the set was called. And then I've played ever since on Dueling Book and then in real life as well.
Sweet. Okay, cool. What made you guys want to play and go format for the 3v3?
So basically, at the time, the GOAT format, like we heard about this 3v3 in the current scene. We were all waiting for like this ban list, right? The ban list was like extended. Konami was taking forever to drop this list, and we were pretty much in like a stale position. And then we saw this like 3v3 tournament. We're like, oh shit, this is something different. Why not? Like, just like, why not? Why don't we play this? And then we got three people and decided to play.
Yeah, like Artemis said, it was just like this format was like super stale. Like I got like super high rated on DB, and just like I wasn't learning anything anymore. Everyone was waiting for the ban list, and then like JJ and Artemis and I, we all like VC anyways, so we thought of it like a fun experience. It's a team event. You could talk to your friends, even though we didn't know the format the best. We still knew how to play Yu-Gi-Oh. So
Yeah, we just figured why not.
yeah,
Sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
So, how was the 3v3 for y'all? Like, why did you choose the decks you chose, and like, how did the tournament go, and how was everything?
Well, to be fair, I think the three of us had like we were on like a very minimal like experience and like preparedness for like this event. So we kind of just like we actually looked through like some of the GOAT format videos and we looked through some of like your guys' meta tier lists or whatever. And we saw like chaos is at the top, so we said, all right, fuck it, let's just run these. And then we decided to like make three different chaos decks, honestly.
yeah. We thought Chaos was just like the most powerful deck. We did have like limited like practice, and we didn't prepare as much as we should have. But like we just thought like the deck was like really cool and like powerful with cards like Chaos Sorcerer. So we decided to play that, and we didn't really practice that much, but it was good Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Chaos has been making a huge showing the past. I mean, I guess really the past year, but the past even 2 years of Go format has just been really booming, and a lot of people are getting into the format because of Chaos Sorcerer, making Turbo just such a powerful deck. And I mean, it makes sense that you guys chose that deck. I mean, even vets think it's the most powerful deck of the format, right?
Exactly. I think it had a pretty high representation for the tournament itself too.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I
usually
think
usually
Yeah.
does
if I
lately.
pull it up, I think it's like a whole 33%.
Yeah, insane.
And like it's
So
Yeah.
it's kind of a testament to the format that we're 16 years or whatever from it originally getting played, and the most powerful decks are all decks either completely different from what was tiered back then, or different shells of decks like Warrior specifically are just way different than they used to get played. And that's kind of interesting that you can have a format be that old and have a lot of diversity still.
that's actually one of the things, like as a current player, I was kind of like blown away. I was like, whoa, this format was from like way back then and it's still changing. It's something that's like, it's not dead, it's like alive to say. So it's like, yeah, we just currently adapt to like what other people are playing and that just creates change. So I was like, yeah, this format's very much real and like that just makes us even more excited to play, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it can
mean,
take out cards that are like really good for like one rotation of a format and then make them kind of like obsolete, which is like really interesting.
Yeah.
How did
so
yeah, you got it, Cam. Go.
yeah, so now that you guys have like experienced goat format in a tournament setting and you've played it, would you guys come back and play more goats?
Oh yeah,
100%.
100%.
Yeah, Ghosts. It was like really fun, and the like a team aspect of Ghosts was a lot more fun than like when I played like a 3v3 for Current. I think Current
Yeah.
was just like too serious. and like they're like the prizing. We just had a lot more fun. If we knew the format, we could take it a lot more serious, and I think it's just a game that we could enjoy more.
Yeah, I think this is like honestly, this like the 3v3 was probably like my favorite like online event I've played in like a really long time.
Yeah, me too. And it was run really smoothly too. I think it was a great event.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was my favorite I played in years as well. Like,
Yeah, me too. It was.
It was just such a fun event, sitting in VC with your friends and
exactly
playing out these matches.
And, like watching, like especially when your game was done first, you can like watch your teammate and like let's say you won or you lost your rank game, and then your other teammate won or lost, and it's like all comes down to like your third buddy, and you're like, oh, let's go, buddy, like let's go, you got this.
It got really emotional sometimes. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was great too because like by ourselves we probably wouldn't have made it far, but like the three of us, like we all could work together, and like just like not knowing the format made it a lot better because we like all of us thought in like three different ways of how to play around cards, and we still didn't know like the full card pool. So like when there was all three of us, like we were just bouncing on ideas. We actually got better as the rounds progressed. Like we started
100%
like copying people, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, no,
I mean,
really
just
fun.
the power of paying attention, really, getting that experience in you, like right then and there, and you just, you learn from something instantly. Like you set, your faith turn one, and they knock it or mind control. You're like, oh, well,
let's not do that again. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think I said a faith turn one ever again after like round 2.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's exactly how it gets played in a turbo mirror now. Is everybody just keeps baiting each other with fake bluffs all over and over and over again until they can try and get a value from those cards.
100%.
How was the tournament? Like specifically, like how did you guys do in the tournament?
I think we went top 5.
We got like 5th, I think.
Yeah, we got 5th. Yeah.
That's really good.
It 100% exceeded our expectations. Yeah.
We 100% thought we weren't going to do well, but then we just kept winning.
Yeah.
The format was really good. It's really nice to be able to draw a hand on like current and be able to play out of it. That was like our biggest.
Right.
Like that's what I noticed the most. Like you could draw a trash hand, and like obviously it's still bad. You're a little behind because it like card advantage matters in GOAT. But like it wasn't impossible to win, which was like really interesting.
Yeah. The thing with GOAT is like you can make crazy comebacks and like it's a legit thing. Yeah. Which you don't really see anymore in current.
Yeah, like if you open bad in current, like you're probably 90% of the time losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are plenty of situations like you got one defensive card and that card, like I mean, say it's a scapegoat, it'll give you 3 or 4 turns of draws to get back in the game just because your opponent can't outspeed you and just do whatever they want whenever you flip your cards.
Right.
Exactly. And no deck can really kill you that like consistently, like it's like meta at least. So that was like really interesting.
That reasoning gate though, I was kind of crazy.
Reasoning gate can come out of nowhere and just blow you away. But they do have some issues with consistency. They also can get killed by side decks a lot. But yeah, they can really just blow you away. They actually come across like a current deck. They're just putting out like 5 like equivalent of like monster negates. Like they don't. Yeah, like. They're just absurd. Like, oh, okay, they have a DMOC, a Jinzo, a BLS, a whatever else, a Fuselayer does 2,800 damage, and you're like, okay, I set 1 card and a T set. Great game.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We almost played that deck, like all 3 of us, but then we decided not to. Because like it had like you can if you miss off reasoning, it's like kind of rough.
It sucks. Yeah.
It is actually it's a really popular deck for current players to come to because it's pretty explosive and it's really combo heavy. A lot of current players usually tend to go somewhere along that line.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Noel back in 2018 made like the modern Reasoning 8 type build with a Thunder Dragons, a Toon Cannon Soldier, just completely streamlined the deck into being some kind of ridiculous combo spiral tier.
Yeah, she combo. Yeah, she pioneered it because she has a background of playing current, and she kind of took that deck building and put it into the reasoning gates and put things that people would tell her like Thunder Dragon that just don't make any sense to put three no effect monsters that can get milled off reasoning gate and were really bad, and added the engine to it, and it just was the most in the time it was the most consistent deck. And most consistent variant of Reasoning Gate of all time. Her win-loss and record was absurd with that deck, like insane.
Oh wow!
And it's
Yeah,
definitely the type of deck, like, it's not the type of deck I want to see people playing all the time, but it's the type of deck you can show to someone from current who's like kind of hesitant on GOAT, being like, look at this, man, this is still Yu-Gi-Oh! You can still deny your opponent the ability to play the game. Just come on.
Exactly.
The really cool thing is like that you said about the chaos deck of like how it got pioneered by that person. The blowback dragon monarch deck, which is also like not like a streamlined goat deck, right? So technically,
Yeah.
like the format's so old, but you can make like new variations of decks, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and every time one
Yeah.
gets popular, you can tech out your deck to deal with it the next way, and then the next week
Exactly.
someone's teching out theirs to deal with yours. It's just
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Like maybe like the actual main deck, like the deck itself. Like we're gonna see Thunder Dragon Chaos for a while. Like it's probably gonna be pretty in the meta for a while. But like the innovation inside the top decks is always just revolving because someone doesn't like that Warriors is dominating them, so they make their side deck or their main deck like super trap heavy. Like right now we've been seeing a lot of turbo players play a lot of solemns, like in a lot of more back row heavy versus some people don't play that at all. So you're getting a lot of variation in the actual top decks, which is still makes the format fun just because it's not you're not going to see the same 40 cards all the time.
For sure.
yeah.
But Petran's one of our better Go format players over the last couple of years, one of the most consistent, one of the most winning, and he decided he hated Warrior so much for the last event. He decided to play Turbo with Skill Drain and like Zombra the Dark and like 15 Nidoria tomato packages because he hated the deck so badly that he wanted and he
wow.
kept losing to Warriors that he just made the most insane like Turbo build I've
Anti-warrior.
seen.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I do have a question though. A lot of people in the community, either inside Goat or outside of Goat, do think that the power spells or certain cards like True Nade, Empty Jar, Burn, whatever, kind of make the format not skillful and super super lame. So I just want to know what your guys' thoughts on the format or power spells and skill and all that.
I think if anything, it makes it like it adds an element of like skill, right? Because you're like that people play these cards, right? So you're constantly playing around. Like you have to keep it in the back of your head, like how can I play around a Delinquent Duo, or like how can I play around a knock? Like it just adds more variance to the game, and I think that is what separates a less skilled player from like a better player, in my opinion.
Yeah, like I always point out to people like you play current format. Like I was talking to Moxies earlier, and I was like, you play current format with Dragon Link and Triple Tactics Talon, and that's 3 power spells in one guard. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
why are you so pressed about Pot of Greed? Like
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a good player, you get. I mean, if you're a good player, you adapt to the powers
I mean,
cards of the format.
you got pot agreed in like 3 different cards now. Like you got 3 pots in current that like sure they have some downside to it, but they give you a +2 or sorry a
Exactly.
+1, and it's just like oh god, you have a card that just says draw an extra card, and oh no, it's the end of the world.
Right.
But yeah, so it's interesting because a lot of people do think that they see a Delinquent Duo and they're just like oh no, this is the most overpowered card ever. I'm so mad. I hate this format. Just kind of interesting.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
a
that
lot of
like
people seem to really focus on, oh, what if my opponent opens pot, Graceful, Duo, Thunder Dragon, and Magician of Faith, and I can't answer it? Well, I mean, okay, sure, if they do that, I guess you deserve to lose. But,
I mean, but that's
I
kind of
mean,
variance of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Because like you could
yeah,
play
I mean,
current, and they could have a full board of Dragon Links, and I could have had 0
Right.
interruptions and have a bunch of
That's like
starters that
saying,
just get
yeah.
negated.
What if your
Yeah.
opponent has all
yeah.
hand traps and perfect combo in current? It's the same thing.
Like it
Yeah,
happens. It's a card game.
it's also like those spells are super powerful, but like if you give like a good player like an average goat hand, and you give like someone that's just getting into goats like a power spell hand, like Pot of Greed Graceful, like the good player probably will win most of the time. Like they
Yeah.
put you far ahead, but it's like it's not anything where it just auto wins them the game.
I
Which I think
agree.
that's a misconception. Like if people like you're opening Pot of Greed Graceful, there was times where I opened Pot of Greed Graceful and I played really well, but like my opponent also played really well, and like he wasn't that far behind. So
And
And
another
yeah,
thing is that in GOAT, a lot of your cards are really situational and they suck. So you can actually just draw garbage off of Pot of Greed and Graceful. And
that
Yeah.
happened to
for
me a
sure.
lot.
For sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That happened to me in our last match when we lost.
A lot of knock usage, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I drew Graceful and I was like, oh, this is it. And then I just drew like double knock duo and it happens.
Yeah.
Happens in current, happens in every
Yeah,
format of Yu-Gi-Oh.
you can't change it. That's just Yu-Gi-Oh. That's variance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, once you get used to what Yu-Gi-Oh is, and you boil it down to, the basics of fundamentals, like, you understand when you're in control and when you need to, make some kind of push. It's the same in current, it's the same in GOAT. You really just you understand Yu-Gi-Oh and you play around or through the power cards, and you just don't. There's no point complaining about them. You have them in your deck too, right? Like,
Exactly.
Yeah, the cards are way more obscure in current format than GOAT format, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember I was playing current a couple of months ago, and I've had people tell me that Delinquent Duo is just some most overpowered card ever, and then I had my whole hand just taken away from me from Infernoble, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really see I don't
Yeah.
see what the issue is here. I don't even get a card to play in current.
yeah,
Exactly.
they can discard 3 cards and then end on negates for your whole
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what?
They'll have more negates than cards in your hand,
You
which
have
is
cards,
unfortunate.
Exactly, yeah. So it's just it's kind of a bad argument. Yeah, Cam, you got other things to ask?
I mean, like when y'all were playing, was there anything you were thinking about, like, comparing GOAT to current, and like things you like better about one, about the other?
I think with
multiple
current,
turns for me was refreshing.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
that's a big thing. Because current, like the speed of the game, it'll be like within a couple turns you'll be done. But GOAT format just feels like you have more time, or like not more time, but more turns to like work with like what you have, and that just gives like more control.
Yeah, and honestly, Go format's a lot more rewarding. Like there was times like I did really, really, really well and like outplayed my opponent, and it felt a lot better if I just outplayed my opponent current.
Yeah,
Like,
because
like when you have reads on Goat cards, it just feels it's such a good feeling. Like it's a lot like you can play around so many cards, and then when they actually have it, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Like we
yeah,
all said
reads
that. We
and
all said,
current
like,
are
it's
like,
just really rewarding.
yeah, like they
They're
might
so
have.
basic.
Do they have Ash? Probably.
Yeah, that's like all it is. Yeah, it's like playing around hand traps. You're basically playing solitaire for current, and you just have to play like optimally, and then like navigating going second would be the hardest thing in current. But like in Go, like you have to play around like battle traps, like breaks, like just everything, right? So
Yeah.
like, and they're making breaks. Like there's some stuff you can't come back from in Go. So
Yeah. I mean, that's Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, sometimes there's that game you just can't win.
I mean, that's true. Yeah. I feel you though. Like it's really rewarding to be like pretty far in a tournament and like you're playing around. Like you just know that set card is a Mirror Force or a Torrential Tribute, or that they have a Chaos Monster in their hand because they've kept a couple cards in their hand for multiple turns. You're like, you know what? I'm pretty confident that's a Chaos Monster, and how would I play around it by baiting them by doing this or whatever? And then it happens, and they had that backrow card or they had that Chaos card, and you played around it. It just feels really good. Like man, like that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we all said that. Like, we all just said Go Form was like just really rewarding when we actually like played optimally. Like, obviously we made some mistakes, but yeah, like, when we actually did play around cards, it was nice.
No one plays a perfect tournament. No one. I don't think anyone probably plays a perfect match.
No, definitely not.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah. What else did I think I had another question, but I forgot it. You have another question, Cam?
What do you guys think about like doing future events, and like if we were to have another 3v3 or just single events? Like, are there any things you guys would do differently to prepare for? I mean, obviously you would do a little more preparation, I think, but
yeah,
like,
we would test with each other a lot, and then probably reach out to the community itself.
Right.
And then, other than that, though, like for 3v3s, I think all 3 of us would enter immediately, like day of. For single, I think for myself, I'd have to take like a lot of time and actually like review the format and analyze like the cards like in depth.
Just see what people are playing, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I think singles like a lot harder. I'm just competitive, so I'd have to be like a lot more serious. Which I was serious in this tournament, but I mean it was kind of different, right? I had 2 other people to rely on. But yeah.
Also, I feel like for the last 3v3, we were like a little like short on time for preparation, if anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like for the next one, we definitely take a little bit longer to like see like the card pool we're working with and like see what's more optimal in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably reach out to Cam or you or Moxies and like ask you guys questions. because like I had
Yeah.
in chat before, and you guys are like really knowledgeable about the game, so I'd probably do that this
100%.
time instead of no practice.
Yeah, no,
Thanks.
I mean, you're even just playing against other people. Like, I know for me, like, I got so much better so quickly playing against like top players. Like, when you just play against like just other people around your skill level, like, sure, you'll get better because you'll just play and you'll just know. But when you play against other people who are, like top of the top, it's crazy how fast you can like propel your
Yeah,
skill level.
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
when I
like
first
that's what
started
happens.
Goat, when I first started Goat, I played against Chris Perovic, and I opened Pot Grace Duo Sinister on him, and I got 2-0'd.
Oh god,
That's insane. I don't
And I
think
was
the whole
like-
tournament. I don't think like look at his graveyard once, which was like that.
yeah.
Watching
he
him,
never looked.
he never looked at his graveyard once. Crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's,
I mean, like,
he's
it's
one of the best.
Yeah, yeah. We were
Playing
watching.
in-
We were watching
against-
one of his games. He never took more than like a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Per turn.
That's one thing that really gets me. Like, I was talking to Moxies earlier. I was like, how can you slow play so much when you prepare for the event, right? Like, one of the things you test for is not really to like, perfect your technical play, because you should be able to do that anyway. Like, you've played other events, so your technical play should be on point. You can always improve it, but like you should really want to be looking for shortcuts. Like, you want to be looking for like, oh, he does this, so I do this, and you want to like not mentally stress yourself. And
Right.
it's stuff like that I think definitely really goes in preparation for events. Would you guys still play Turbo if you did another event?
That's
I
it.
play
That's a
Chaos,
meta call, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't
in
play.
a way,
I
yeah.
actually didn't play Turbo.
Yeah, he was playing. I think Duffy was playing Chaos Control.
No,
Yeah.
I was on Chaos Control for this event. Cody was on
Wait, you
Turbo,
played-
right?
I
yeah,
thought one of you guys was on. Yeah, okay, there you go. One of you
Yeah.
guys was on.
Artemis.
Yeah.
Chaos
I was on.
Control.
Artemis played Spy, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
His
think
build
some of
was
our
kind
cards-
of turbo-y with Scapegoat, really. Like, it had not assailant spy and stuff, but it was a cool build.
Right.
Yeah, it was just because like Artemis wanted to play Chaos, but he also wanted to play goats and metas and spies, and we were just like, okay, we'll just put it in like JJ and I also put in like random cards, which was like just
No,
lack
I
of-
thought
noticed that
Scapegoat
JJ's deck
would be
had
a
some
really good
Saku
meta
in it.
call. Yeah.
JJ decided to. What was that?
Yeah.
Sorry?
What happened?
Cam, did you say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
You said JJ decided to play,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, JJ had Saku's in his deck.
Oh yeah, so did I.
Yeah.
Which is
think
really interesting because I also had Saku's, and I thought it was a good meta call because I was playing no books with 2 Saku's in my deck, and I was like, yeah, okay, so all these warrior players out here, there's going to be a lot of them, and there were, but I didn't get to play against any of them, but Saku put in a lot more work than Book did, which was interesting. So
Really? That's interesting.
I agree with that. To be honest, yeah, Book put in
Book-
like less work for me.
I really like Book in my deck. But
Book is one of those cards where like it's really versatile, but
exactly, right.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I didn't play it
it's-
because I was like, well, listen, if I'm playing Control, I'm playing 3,000 eyes on top of my BLS and Sorks. So if my opponent's playing Turbo, they have BLS and 2 Sorks. I have BLS 2 Sorks and 3,000 eyes. So I don't care if I book my 1,000 eyes. They can summon Sork. They can banish it. Who cares? Right? Like, I just summoned Sork over theirs, and
Exactly.
it happened every time.
I mean, the biggest thing was like for Sakuretsu, I think it just made me more comfortable because I had like lack of experience. But I think people didn't think I played it, which was like a huge advantage.
Yeah,
like,
that's always an advantage. I Saku'd 2 BLSs in 2 different matches.
Yeah,
That's
you're gonna get
just
away with
because-
that. A lot of people don't play like a heavy set of battle traps in their chaos like variant deck, so you can kind of get away with taking people off guard.
Yeah.
Like I had about I think 3 people attacking with the like 1,000 eyes in like simplified game states, where like I shouldn't have been able to get ahead of them if they just passed, but
Yeah.
they attacked into it. So
I have admittedly thrown several of those games.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's like not being greedy is like a huge thing in Goat though.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
I got punished a lot of times.
yeah, like you respect, like you really just got to respect the whole, control beatdown dynamic more than, I wouldn't say more than any other format, but like you've got to understand to the very core how the gameplay between two people works rather than between multiple cards.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah,
like
I think
think to yourself too, like, hey, if I'm gonna attack with this card and it is a battle trap, like, am I okay with that? Do I have like recovery from it, or am I just gonna get blown out? And if I'm gonna be down because of it, is it actually worth the attack, or is it worth
Yeah.
just passing and just waiting for a certain other card?
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you've always got to weigh your risk. Whereas in current format, I mean, I don't mean to talk crap about current, of course. Like, I mean, I play sometimes. Like, I mean, everything I say seems to come back to, oh, in current format, well, you are just stupid if you play. But no, but there's such a little pool of viability, really, like at the top tables. It's like you always know your opponent has this in their deck rather than this. And
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
maybe you don't know that for
yeah.
sure, but you know that like you're playing against Eldritch, their set cards are probably, Conquistador and Buakera.
Right.
And
Yeah. And then at that point, you
it's
just
like,
use your knowledge, right? To,
Yeah.
like, play
Especially in
around everything
current,
else.
where there's so much searching, you have a pretty good idea of what it has.
yeah, I mean, you can probably see their whole hand of 6 against some decks.
Right.
So,
You know a lot of cards like at the end of their turn, anyways. Like they're just
Yeah.
public knowledge. The format's just like you just get paid. You get punished for not playing around cards that you already knew, though. That's
Yeah.
really all. it
Yeah,
is.
that's another thing.
Like you can get
And in a
punished, but I
way-
mean, like you knew it was there.
yeah, in a way, I don't know, in a way, that's kind of skillful in its own regard. Like, you knew it was there, why didn't you, play correctly? Whereas in Go, you do have to take a bunch of risks on cards you don't know, and you can get rewarded for stupid plays sometimes just because your opponent doesn't have an answer. So that's
Right.
Yeah.
that is one kind of flaw, but
Ghosts
Like
can definitely
Artemis.
get out of hand.
Right. I
BLS
think my
is a
game
free back
versus
row.
Tenpla, yeah, I BLS. I had my last game. It was BLS plus Tribe. He had set 2. I said, "Fucking," I just attacked and I won. And it
We're
pissed
just
me
like
off.
go for it.
Yeah, we're just like, go for it. He had set 2. All right, bet, let's do this.
I mean, sometimes
I mean, hey,
if
listen.
you just gotta feel yourself and you just go.
Exactly.
It's one of those situations.
We were
If you lose
Our
it, you
biggest thing
don't.
was like, we just like send it every time. We were like, all right, just send it.
Yeah, just send it. When we didn't know what to do, we were just like, just send it. And every time we sent it, we won.
It worked. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It was always with BLS because like I think all 3 of us played into like 4 back row every time with a BLS and won. Because we just had no other plays. We had like 3 cards.
We just
Oh,
didn't
no.
get punished. It was amazing.
That's hilarious. That doesn't.
Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'll summon BLS into an empty field and leave him on 100 life points and they'll top deck snatch.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's.
God.
Yeah.
I think the best part was just learning every round. That was like I think not
Yeah.
having as much practice made the event more fun for me. Like
Yeah.
I learned like things like off my opponents like instantly. Like the mind control was like a huge one. When to side out Nox because I noticed like it wasn't in my opponent's deck like game 2s, so I was like, oh okay. Like sometimes, or like when I watched other people play and like what the decks were and like what I could side out, what I could side in, which was like really interesting.
Yeah, I wish someone on your team would have told JJ to take out Nox versus
That's
Warriors
not
because
a-
I kind
That
of got
was
a free win against him. I was like, oh god, this guy's got double knock in his hand game 2. I was like, I just gotta blow this guy out, and I did.
Yeah, that was unlucky.
Shout out JJ.
we
for
didn't.
that. Yep.
We didn't really talk about siding, to be honest. We didn't really know
Yeah.
like that much. Like
I think he
that
just did his
prepared.
own thing.
Yeah,
I
our
felt
siding was
bad.
probably the hardest part, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, siding honestly is one of the hardest parts in general for a lot of people. Like, even like people have been playing for a long time, who are just like mid-level players and trying to aspire to be like a top player. Like the side decking is a huge issue for
Right.
people, either building their side deck for the meta that they're at, because that's part of the skill is like you got to read what you assume is going to be played, because there's so many decks that can come out of nowhere and play. You can't just like choose your 15 side deck cards for like 3 specific decks. Right, versus like in current, if I'm playing a top tier deck, I'm in a side deck for other top tier decks, and if I play a rogue deck, I just assume
You blow it out.
then I'm gonna blow it out, right? So I don't
Right,
need to
right,
like
right.
super
Yeah.
prepare for it. Versus here, if I don't prepare for like a random burn deck or like a empty jar deck, and I don't bring my Cyberstein or Necromancy or whatever else, like I'm just gonna get destroyed. But I could go a whole tournament without playing them, but that doesn't mean I can't not play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of top players' mentality in current, like myself included, it's just if we're playing against a deck that we're not prepared for, we're winning anyways.
100%.
Because like
Agreed,
the top,
Yeah,
the top
exactly.
decks are usually just so far ahead, right?
I
It's
agree.
just that tier 1. We just prepare for tier
Yeah.
1, and like everything else, if it's under it, we're winning anyway, I guess.
Yeah, no, exactly, and that's something that in Goat you can't really do. You have to like try and either A, read the meta and prepare for it, or B, like just have a very versatile side deck. Which when you have a versatile side deck,
Exactly.
it means you can't side 8 cards against one certain matchup too. So you got to be very particular about the cards you wanna side.
Right. And like another thing that I noticed, like your side deck, it's like 0 staples, right? So you're trying to make every single card count, and you're trying to like figure out what does this card do against this matchup. And that's just, I thought that was like the hardest part for sure.
You've also got to like really worry about, the fact there's so many decks. All of your cards need to really overlap. You need to have cards that are good in multiple matchups, which is really hard to find because the format's so old. The game was so early at this point in time that finding those types of cards can be sometimes almost impossible.
Yeah.
One of
I
my
really
favorites was
think-
Hallowed Life Barrier. Like, no one knows that card exists.
I think
Like-
that's why we
we
saw
didn't.
a lot of judgments in this format. It's just so versatile. We just saw it come out of the side deck so quickly. And it was,
Yeah, we saw a lot of
it's-
judgments, but I hated that card. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was just never.
I think
good
it's super
enough. Like,
versatile. Yeah.
I think when opponents are like holding power cards or pushes, like the card is like I'm not gonna judgment some of like the like low impact cards, and it just like never worked for me. That could have been my inexperience, but just in like my little amount of testing, it was really weird.
Judgment in a chaos deck is a little hit and miss for me. It can be really good. It can be really bad. I think in aggro it's just really good because it allows you to be a little bit ignorant and it can take away some of the absurd advantage that because like warriors in general don't make a lot of card advantage. They're more of just a reactive deck. So
Yeah.
you want to be able to
Right.
stop your opponent from looping you on power cards because that's how they're going to win is they're going to loop you. So you want to like hold it for things like that. So it can be pretty good in that, but it is kind of interesting that a card like Solemn Witch, 15 years ago, or even like up to like a couple years ago, was not a very popular card outside of aggro. Is now seeing a lot more play.
Right.
Yeah, even Riklar, the current world champion, he does not like Solemn in the main deck. He constantly tells people, who post their Solemn turbo list, like, well, you could probably make this better by taking out the Solemns. But he sides 3.
Yeah,
He sides 3 because it's just it's so good across a lot of matchups. And like what separates Riklar, I think, is that him being such a really good player is that he knows how to use Solemns better than everyone. He doesn't, just set his whole hand turn 1 and pay 4K for a heavy. He'll instead,
I think that's not worth it ever.
yeah. I mean, maybe in Warrior. In Warrior, I think it's kind of
you kind of have to, or else you just get blown out.
But in Turbo, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't imagine that ever being worth it. I want to wait till I'm 500 life points and my Solemns are basically paying no life points for the most high impact negations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I want I want to really push my opponent out of the game. That I like instead of wait till they're low on cards and I'm securing a win rather than trying to make them not win.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of people use Solemn wrong, and so it doesn't pay off for them. They just lose because of a life point deficit when they should have been using Solemn after they were on it.
That's another big thing, right? Life points as a resource. You don't really see
Yeah.
that often in current, but there's so much like that's another aspect you really have to think of in goats.
Yeah,
How
you
to
have
manage
to.
your life
Yeah,
points for sure.
you definitely do because there's just an auto kill card in Ring of Destructions. You kind of always in the back of your mind going, hey, like if I do this and he has this, do I have an out to a ring if he plays it right now?
Yeah,
Exactly. Right.
Yeah, there's
Like
like
Ring of
times where like, you're
Destruction.
holding your Sakuretsu, but then you get too low. You have to, even though you're probably
Yeah.
safe, but you'll lose to ring.
Yep, exactly. 100%. Now,
And Ring also creates a lot of these weird situations where your opponent's attacking with something like something completely non-threatening, like I don't know, Breaker without a counter, and you're just like, do I ring it now or do I let it attack me again? Because I'm going to take so much damage. If like maybe I can top deck, something that kills it, but you're going to take so much damage if you take 2 direct attacks and then ring it, and it's like it really puts you in weird positions
You're
where you
so
have
far
to
behind.
think about life.
Right.
Yeah, I got behind on a lot of games because of like that exact reason. Like I had ring and I just didn't ring because it's like, why would I ring a breaker or like for example?
Right. Yeah.
Or
You don't want to waste cards like that, especially power cards on floaters. But
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
like once you have to, you're going to wish you did it sooner every time, which
Exactly.
sucks.
Yeah, that's
Like
how I
it
felt
sucks
every
being in
time.
that position.
Did
It happens.
either of you guys side mind control?
We
You guys
did
play
Every
that?
game.
We side
Every time.
yeah.
So that
We played
card's
triple.
that card's a really funny, like a fun card for the format because like it's a very high skilled card because like it the way it's used, you're either going to get a like mid value, pretty good value out of it by using it to like take their BLS Chaos Orc and banish it, or you're going to get absurd, insane value out of it, or really bad value out of it on a face down flip card. And that
Right.
card, it can be one of the most powerful side deck cards in the mirror, and can also be a complete whiff and puts you so far behind if you use it wrong. And it's a very, I think it's one of the more skilled cards in the mirror because you have to really like take a lot of things into consideration when you play that card.
Yeah, you 100%
Yeah,
uproot your opponent.
Yeah,
There was
it's
like
like
I was
think
I was
I
so
think I was always
certain.
playing
Yeah,
Nox
go ahead.
first. No, I think I was always playing Nox first, and like mind control was like turn 3 probably. Like I was never blind mind controlling because I did once and I got like really punished. It was I think it was a Tsukiyomi, and like I was just
Yeah,
really behind from that point on.
the first time I blind mind controller, I was so certain my opponent had a set Magician of Faith, and then I flipped a Mystic to mid. I was like, shit.
yeah, dude. But mind control for tomato is the classic.
Yeah,
I
it
was like,
happens.
shit.
Yeah, that happens.
I really never blind mind control because of that. But not to pour salt in the wound. When I was playing against JJ, I blind mind controlled him twice because I was like, JJ doesn't know about mind control. He's not going to play around it. So
Yeah, it's like a reading current too. Like you can do that in current. Like you can activate cards because your opponent's inexperienced. But
Right.
unlucky that it was JJ. But
Yeah. Had to be JJ.
had happened.
That's funny. There's a bigger tournament happening in May, the next big GFC. I can tell you guys about right now. I think it's what Cam, May 10th, I think, or May 25th, one of those days.
I don't want to lie to you, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's sometime in May is the next big GFC, so it'd be great to have you and as many other current players as we could possibly get in there.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah, our current
personally,
record is 150.
yeah, that's the 3-3 had the biggest turnout in like the modern GOAT like ever, and
Really?
then yeah, it was the
Yeah.
biggest turnout, and then
How many people were it? Like
I think we had
in total?
150, 153.
150. You said?
Yeah, it was
Something like
153.
that.
I think it was 51 teams.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And
Insane.
the tournament before that, which was the first tournament of the new season for the GFC, was 143 or 148 or something, and that was the singles tournament. So those are like the two biggest tournaments we've ever had online in the new GOAT era. So GOATs is kind of thriving right now. It's doing really, really well.
Yeah.
An interesting fact for the listeners out there is that the smallest SJC in actual GO format had 177 people, which means if we could break that, we would actually have an online tournament bigger than an SJC.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Which I think we'll get
Yeah.
there. I think we'll get there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me
I
too.
would love to
Especially
see a
with like
200 person GO tournament.
everything going on in the world.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
for sure.
helped. The ranked from DB and the lack of IRL stuff going on because of COVID, and a lot of players just have been, like, hey, let's go play goats, and something I don't have to like pay cards for if I decide I want to play IRL. I can just, pick up these cards and never have to worry about, them randomly getting banned and having no value, like, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah, and
fun.
go high rarity go cards always stay like super high value, so it's like an investment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No
it
cards
is.
drop that significantly. Yeah.
They've actually been like insane, like going up in price. Like cards that I bought for like $5-10 like a year ago, some of those cards are like 60-70 bucks right now, and like
Oh,
sure
wow.
they'll
Crazy.
probably like dip a bit, but they're just gonna keep going up now. It's insane the go cards value right now. Like a delinquent duos from like an old set, like a secret rare from one of the 2010 sets, it was like $10
Oh,
when I
okay.
got it, and it's like 30 now.
I bought a
Yeah, I have
first
I have a
edition.
super rare fate.
Oh,
Really?
nice.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is
So
not ever going to go down.
No.
No, that card's always been like super high. I got it for like a pretty good deal. Like at locals, the guy didn't know what it was worth. So
Oh, nice.
fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
Easy
And
scam.
the only other goat card I have is Ultimate Dekoichi, but those aren't that expensive. So
They're getting
I mean,
there.
it's still like
They're
it's still like 40.
no, they're
aren't
more
they?
than that now. I think
Oh, really?
I think an Ulti
I bought it
Deco's
for 10.
yeah, here I'm gonna double check real quick, but I think we're pushing like 80 now.
Yeah, I bought a first MRL duo for $13, and near mint that card's
How much is
insane
it now?
now. I got my first IOC BLS for 35, and that card's pushing
Yeah, that card's
300,
insane.
maybe more. It's just ridiculous how much it comes.
300? Holy crap!
Yeah,
I had an iOS BLS or IOC. Damn, wish I still had it.
dang. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean a near mint. If you still have like a near mint first edition Ulti Deco, it's $200.
Insane.
wait, how much is
Wow.
unlimited then? Unlimited decos are worth more because there was.
What happened? I swear I went to like YCS Niagara, like 2018, and it was only like 40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
on TCG Player, a lightly played
That's
unlimited
insane.
is all they have, and it's $50.
Wow.
I have a
Crazy.
first. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, that's just Go cards in general have just been skyrocketing lately. Like Book of
Yeah.
Moon, like I thought Book of Moon was gonna, because like a couple months ago when they still had those interactions with Book of Moon before they switched it with the new ruling, and back when people used to use it to side deck to out to the zoo cards so they can't make Zeus, it was getting played still, and it was like 60 something bucks for the Alti book, and that Alti book is like almost 100 now, and sure it still get used in Kurt a little bit, but like it's mostly because of goats just building cards up. Like I got my Book of Moon for like $30 from a friend, and it's worth like 100 now.
Yeah, decent. Prop. Isn't the super books more though, right?
Oh yeah, Superbooks, the top. Yeah.
Yeah, super high.
I don't have too much. I don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time. I just wanted to have some last minute things. Like, would you guys, possibly participate in the next big tournament? The singles.
Yeah,
May
100%.
sounds good. Yeah, 100%
Yeah.
would.
And I don't know if they have. Cam would know more about this than me, but I don't know if they have any plans for another 3v3 for this season. I would love
They
it,
definitely should.
but it is a lot of work on the staff, and the
Yeah.
staff they don't get paid.
Right.
They do it all out of their own free time.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work for them to do a 3v3, and streaming a 3v3 it was really hard for making it work online. So because Scully had to have 3 different browsers with 3 different tabs so he could switch the different games, right? So it was a lot of work for him and the staff. So I don't know if it's how viable it is to do it again, but I know a lot of people, including them themselves, the staff, thought it was the best tournament they've ever had and most enjoyable. So I would like to see it again.
agree.
I'm just not
Yeah.
sure if it would happen again this year. I would love to see it though.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. Like it's good that they did it once, so they'll have better.
Yeah.
It's like trial.
Shout
and
out,
error.
shout out the staff team though. The tournament was really
It was
smooth.
run really well.
Yeah,
I really
I
liked
thought
the
it was
fact
really
that you could just you could do 2. I think we did 2 rounds in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We did
they're
have to
quick.
wait a
The
long
staff
time.
It went
but-
quick for me too.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. You could play it wasn't timed. You could just
Play at
play
your own
rounds.
pace. Exactly.
That was super cool.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
we don't really do time stuff and Go just because one, it's just
No,
impossible
you
for
can't,
staff
yeah.
to be able to go around and get everyone to do that, so it's really hard. Plus,
Yeah,
I think
and also when we
Goats
play
is just
double
more
elimination.
enjoyable. Yeah, double elimination too is a big thing, and I think the
that
game
was
round
itself.
go
it was
different
reminded me
times
of
more.
Smash Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, they used to do Swiss, but there was a lot of issues with Swiss online and with time and staff and all that. I would be interested still in doing a Swiss tournament, maybe not a big major, because a Swiss tournament with 150 people with 3 staff members would just be absurd. But a smaller event with Swiss would be kind of interesting, because there's a lot of other decks like Reasoning Gate or a OTK like Cat Panda OTK or whatever that kind of thrive in that kind of format, because or that kind of styles, because a lot of these Reasoning Gate decks they have their brick issues, so it's hard to win a tournament, like a double elimination tournament, when there's 8 rounds of winners, and round 4 you just brick out of your mind and now you're in losers. It doesn't matter how well your deck is, it's really hard to win in Goat
Exactly.
8 rounds in a row, versus in Goat format Italia they do a lot of Swiss, and when I was talking to one of their community leaders, he was telling me that they had a Reasoning Gate deck win that went like 6-3 in Swiss and was like the 16th place and won because all he needed to do was just win the 4 rounds in the top cut. And he had Reasoning Gate, right? So
Right.
like Reasoning Gate can do
Yeah.
that. They can just blow you out for 4 rounds in a row. Their problem is that like over a long tournament, they're gonna brick. It's gonna happen no matter what. It will happen. So the
Right.
guy ended up going 6-3 in Swiss, and 6-3 is not a winning performance in a double elimination tournament. You're done. You're
Nope.
out, right? You're
Yeah, you're
gone.
done.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so it's really like
I've
we
done the
don't
same
see
thing.
that. We don't see those types of decks win tournaments very often in double elim because of that. And I feel like a Swiss tournament, you could get away with that. It'd be a little bit interesting.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, Swiss is definitely. I've done the same thing. I played like glass cannon decks, and then just gotten like top 8, and then being able to win the actual whole thing because like it just blows you out, right? That's what it's meant to do.
What
It's
was
meant to
funny?
draw well.
What was funny to me is that the night before the 3v3, Artemis actually messaged me on Delinquent asking to teach him how to play Dark Magician of Chaos FTK, and we
Right,
played.
yeah.
He was gonna play it.
And we
I was
played a
like, all right,
mirror. We
let's do
played a
this.
mirror match of it, and we kept FTKing one another or breaking, and it was just like, yeah, this is Yu-Gi-Oh right now, man.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, the
Good thing we
last
didn't play that day.
the last GFC singles 11. There's a gentleman. His name's Delinquent. He's one of the
Yeah.
more like intuitive like deck building players. He really enjoys making and building and playing these out of nowhere non meta decks. And he built a dimension like a DMOC like FTK, but it was a really different style of it. He used like Strike Ninja and had like a different way of doing it, and
Yeah.
it was just out of nowhere. Like nobody even understood. Like a lot of people didn't even understood how his deck won, like how what was even happening. And I think he ended up getting ninth place, and he just didn't make the top cut. And his brother got top
I love,
4,
yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
and he has a world's invite, and he was using a slightly different variant, not a OTK, but a more Reasoning Gate variant, but he used these random cards. Like Rare Metal Dragon, and that's just what these guys do. They just build these out of nowhere cool concept decks, and Delinquent just does well. Like he's really good at building these decks that no one expects, has no idea what's going on, and does really well, which is really fun. It's fun for the format. It's not fun to play against, but it's fun for the format.
Yeah.
So how many people gets a World's Invite at this?
It
GFC
usually
that you're talking
depends. It
about?
usually depends on the numbers of players. Like the FLC, the format library, the group that we're in right now. We're doing ours tomorrow, and the last FLC, the one that I
gave
won.
2.
Yeah, shout out to myself. I won it. We gave
Great.
2 invites to first and second. But the GFCs are
Okay.
usually like double the size of FLCs. So they like the last FLC or sorry GFC, they gave up 4, so the top 4 people got invites. So
Okay.
so it's
Yeah.
it's pretty good. But I mean 153 people, they usually are like, yeah, we're just gonna give up 4 because it's usually like a per player amount,
Yeah.
like a 30 to 30ish range is where they would give out an invite for. So
Right.
yeah, I would
Are
assume
these
that next tournament would probably give up 4.
are all GOAT tournaments free?
Most
They
of
used
them,
to
like the
be.
ones following Go
Yeah.
format and format library.
They all the majors are, but what they have been doing, they actually just started this year to do Patreon tournaments just because they want to start pooling money for Worlds. They can give the winner and like the top cut or whatever a bunch of cash. So they've been
Okay.
doing Patreon tournaments. So you pay $10, and your $10 goes into the pool for Worlds, and you get to play in an exclusive tournament for only people who play in it. There's also still a cash prize, like we did it last. It was last weekend. We had the Patreon tournament. There's 38 players, and first place got $75. It's like you're not really getting that much money, but it still gives you something. But
You're still winning money.
yeah,
Right?
and you still get a Worlds invite too. But yeah,
Oh, you get a World Invite.
yeah, you
Okay.
get a Worlds invite. So the top 2 people in that Patreon tournament, there's 38 of us last time. Top 2 people got Worlds invite, and first place got a $75 cash prize, and all the rest of the money just get put into the pool for Worlds, because Worlds is kind of like they're trying to build a bunch of money. Because last year I think Reclar got like $300-$400, but they're trying to double that for next time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
trying
Give
to
a
do
really high
that.
incentive. There.
Yeah, they want Worlds to feel like super exclusive.
Like Worlds.
Yeah. So most of our tournaments don't really have it. Unfortunately, we do have a bit of a community stigma where people don't want to pay for tournaments, which is unfortunate. Because you go to any locals in your whole life and you're paying an entry fee, but so it's
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
paying
weird.
$5,
Yeah,
$10.
it's kind of weird to me, but a lot of people don't want to do it. But
You can
yeah,
also do
yeah.
like random like raffle prizes like RNG to like the really casual goat players.
Oh, I love
Like
doing
do some
that. Yeah, we do
yeah
that at my
that
locals. You'll give away like
yeah
a random
exactly
packs, whatever the first place person gets, anyone could get too, just off random things, which is nice.
yeah exactly. It's like a
Yeah,
really nice thing because like people are scared they're not going to get anything because they're not good enough. But then it's like a raffle or you can win a mat, something like that, and then
yeah.
helps the community grow as well.
We do have some nice community members. Lebrandage is a community member. He usually puts in a pot of money from his own account, and he'll throw it into the pool. Gib
Oh well.
Nation is one of the admins for Luxury. You guys probably have heard of him. He just does a lot
Yeah,
of
I'm from
posting on
Canada.
him. Okay, yeah, okay. Oh, you're from Canada. Great. I like you already more. I'm Canadian.
Yeah,
Um, it,
yeah. That's
yeah,
why I've been to Game Nation.
so yeah, Gib Nation does a lot of goat stuff on Luxury. And he puts a bunch of cards in for charity. Like he just gives away cards too for the winners and whatever. So we do have some community members who do it, but I'd say about 90% of the tournaments you're more just playing for your love of the community and for trying to get your world's invite, which is where the actual cash prize would be.
It's also glory though, right? That's like the biggest thing.
That is the biggest thing in goats. You're
Yeah.
right. No, it really is. People play the format. They don't really necessarily care so much about like money. It's more just about like being known as like a really good player and being the guy, the man.
Exactly.
Yeah, even though Goat doesn't have like the doesn't have real worlds like current Yu-Gi-Oh and doesn't have YCSs and stuff. It's still one of those formats where people look at it and they see, oh, you won a Goat tournament with 140 people. I guess you're a pretty good player. And I mean, it's just one of those recognition things where um, you know people want to be recognized as a good player, and they're going to come to Goat format for that because this is a format where you show off how good you are.
Yeah, it's all true.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the same in current though. You do well, and then you can even get like sponsors and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like and glory, like just having your name out there. I think every human likes that. So.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
For sure. I mean, the 3v3 was the first tournament I topped. I quit playing Yu-Gi-Oh for a while, so I mean, I guess it don't really count. But it was the first tournament that I topped in a few years, and I was like, dude, look at that! My deck list is on a site. My name is on a site, and I get an interview for this. Like, this is really sick. Like, we didn't even do this back when I was playing tournaments in
Actually,
2017. So coming back to that, it was my second tournament back. Coming back to that was like, oh, look at this! I'm and I'm getting neck decked right now.
Yeah, it's fun when people message you and they're like, hey, I saw your build online. It's really cool. Like, what do you side for this, and why do you play like this, and why did you do this play? And they just keep messaging you, and sometimes it gets a little like, okay, bro, like chill out, like I'm done. But like at the same time, like in your inner self, you're like, man, this guy like wants to talk to me because he thinks I'm like good and he thinks that my deck building is good, and that's kind of
very
fun.
rewarding.
Yeah,
that was like me last format and current. But in goats, like when they posted our list, like on the site too, that was like super cool because it was our first tournament ever.
Yeah, and you guys are gonna be there. Yeah,
seeing our name there.
Yeah, I mean,
it was dope.
Sweet. Okay, I think with this Lena has gone pretty good time now. Do you guys have any like outward like thoughts or anything you want to talk about?
I think
just
we covered
try
a lot.
Goat to all the current players, basically. Like just give it a try, and then if you don't like, you don't like it. But honestly, it's a great format, so I would definitely try it.
Like there's like no thought in my mind where I think like, okay, this is a less skilled format. Like I think they're both current and goats have their own like skill like barrier for sure.
Yeah, and I mean Cody. I mean he's top 10 DB player. I don't know if he's top 10 right now, but he's definitely been top 10 DB player multiple times now. And it's like you got all these people that are like, oh no, Goat's a skillless sack format. Goat's terrible, and it's like, listen, what I always tell them is you don't have the win rate in current to complain about another format yet.
That's true.
Exactly.
But like you guys, I mean, you guys do, and you guys have a win rate in current. You like current Yu-Gi-Oh. You come back to Goat, you like Goat. I mean, it's like it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Like there's no reason to hate on one
Exactly.
format
It's
for
a
the other.
skillful game as a whole.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Like, just-
Yeah. This is. Oh, you got. Keep going.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good.
Okay, yeah. I'd also like say it was interesting and fun to see Couch come and play too. I mean, his team didn't do great. I know you guys actually beat them. I don't know which one of you guys
Yeah,
played
we
him. I think it was
beat them.
JJ, right? JJ played Couch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
JJ played Couch and he blew him out game 1, and then JJ beat him in like 5 minutes.
yeah. I saw his deck. His deck was a skill drain like Zombra beatdown deck. It wasn't very good. But I think he just wanted to just throw something together and just play. But like it was just fun to see because like
game 1, he summoned
yeah.
double. Yeah.
Yeah, he did double Zombra, right? Double Zombra skill drain in game 1 or something.
Yeah. He did double Zombra skill drain into JJ's spy, and we were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was super happy to see him just because
Nothing we could do.
he's one of the players that got me personally back in current. When I finished going to medical school, I decided like I have a bit more time to play Yu-Gi-Oh again, and I saw the announcement for Master Rule 4 or 5 and to get like to make it more open because like that's one of the things that was stopping me from playing current is when I quit current, I just finished topping my regionals with Cosmo in late 2016. And when I came back to playing after school, I was like, I can't even play these other like decks that I have because they just get like lock restrict if they're not link, right? Like I can only summon one card and put it in that one zone, and it's just like, okay, do I just want to get blown out by Sky Striker or have to play these like link decks? It was like it was kind of like blocking me from coming back. So when they made the announcement for Master Rule 5, I was like, oh sweet, like I don't have to like build my deck around links. I can play a deck that I already have, get myself back into it. And Shadal's, I used to play Shadal's back in 2014, and I saw Couch win the 3v3 YCS with Shadal's and with Shadal invoked, I'm pretty sure. And he's also Canadian, so it was like super interesting for me to go like, oh man, this guy's playing a deck that I like. I can go to the store and get 3 structure decks and put it together with my cards I have now, and I can play a decent deck, and he goes and wins the 3v3, and then he's playing in the GOAT tournament. It was just like, man, that's cool. I was like, I really wished I would have played him, but then you guys smoked him instead.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also had like you had Nash, also, who was a good DB player. He also
Yes.
played.
Yeah, I played against Nash's team. I played against Madonna of Patanis Petrali. I thought I played a great game against them. They're pretty good. I've played against them on ladder before, and
Madonna plays a lot of both. I last season he was grinding current and GOAT a lot. He was pretty high ranked in both.
yeah, I mean, and it's just one thing. Like if you're good at one format, you're gonna. I mean, once you learn the other,
If you're good at Yu-Gi-Oh, you're good at Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah,
right?
that's honestly what it comes down to at a really basic level is if you're just good at Yu-Gi-Oh, it doesn't matter what format it is, with enough experience and like learning and practice, you understand fundamentals and how to like use card advantage and how to get good trades that are in your favor, you're just going to become good at cards, like the game. It doesn't matter what form it is, you'll just get good at it sooner or later.
I agree.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have for me. Do you have anything you want to say, Cam?
no, I think I've covered everything I want to.
Okay, sweet. Thank you, Artemis and Duffy, for coming and talking to us from Team Glue Eaters. They topped in the last 3v3 to all of our listeners. They have a background in current. We'd love to have more current players play. We'd love to have more current players tell other current players to come and play and just get the word out there. Thank you guys so much.
And
for
remember,
coming.
guys,
Yeah.
just because you play current doesn't mean you can't play GOAT, and just because you play GOAT doesn't mean you can't play current. You can enjoy both formats.
Exactly.
Thank you guys both
All right,
for
thanks
coming.
for having us, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us
thanks
for
for
sure. We
having
had a
us.
great
All
time.
right,
Sweet.
All right,
awesome.
everyone, have a good day.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you guys.
See ya.
This has been. Do you have anything you want to say, just you and me, or can we just go to the end here?
No, I mean, I think we've covered everything. Just keep your eyes out for ears out. I don't know. Just stay listening for more Go content. And
yes, we're gonna try and get Go content out decently regularly, as best we can. We do have a couple episodes like thoughts that we've decided on for later that we'll be posting. So you guys can look forward to that. Hopefully you guys like this type of talk and getting people from around the community, either inside or outside. Yeah, thank you guys so much. This has been I don't even remember the name of our podcast again. What was it again? It's
Back to square one.
Back to Square One, which my brain needs a reset to go back to square one. But this has been Back to Square One with Moxies and Cam. Thank you all.